And welcome everybody to the Jeremy Womack Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Womack. I'm here with Miss Tiffany Masters of Las Vegas Bucket List. Also, if you've followed a lot of her things, you might see that she has been promoting Save Rosenmore, which is going through a lot of issues right now about ordinances and things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the show, also about Bucket List, and all about where Tiffany has been, where she is now, and where she's going. And the disclaimer at the beginning of the show is probably the most. It'll be spot on today for sure. If you have any kids that are listening or watching, it might not
Muskrat.
be. Yeah, do one of those
The
for
muskrat.
them. So welcome. Thank you, Tiffany, for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We have
About
known.
time.
Yeah, we've known each other for ages.
Yeah.
I think one of the first times that we talked a lot on social media, but first time actually meeting was I think at Blush.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm celebrating my 15 years in Vegas
You've been
next
here.
month.
Wow. Yes, I've been here since February of 2000, and you've been here what 99?
99.
Yeah.
Yes. For the birth of the real nightlife industry.
That's true. I mean, it's changed a lot over the years,
So
just
much.
tremendously. And I remember one of the very first shoots I did. I used to shoot the Vegas scene page for Las Vegas Weekly for
Right.
like 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and my first one was out at House of Blues, and that was just kind of, hey, go here to take some pictures, and we need it. But as it progressed, it was all these different clubs opening left and right, and just became.
I remember
crazy.
where the first photos that would go online on a .com, and we were it. There were like 8 to 16 pictures that would be uploaded for the night, and I think it was called coolvegas.com. Do
Okay.
you remember that?
I think it was Cool in Vegas or Cool Vegas.
Coolvegas.com.
I don't
going way back.
We might have to look that
The
up.
first,
Is it
yeah,
still
that's
up, you
the
think?
first. I'm really proud of myself that I remember that. I mean, I've lost a lot of memory cells over the past 15 years.
A lot of fun, I'm
And
sure.
then, of course, to really break open the scene was definitely, napkin nights.
Yeah, that definitely was.
It changed everything.
It took it from.
What happens in Vegas is now all over the
Is
world.
all over because it was when you went into nightclubs. It used to be that people would go around taking your pictures, but they would want to charge you like they did in a show. You'd have a photographer going around and then try to hawk the pictures to you later,
Right.
and that's what it was in like in nightclubs too. And then I remember meeting Tracy and Babies. Many people don't remember Babies, but
I
Babies,
do.
she does.
That's back when they had a fish tank downstairs
It was
inside
awesome.
a nightclub. And there's fish. See, I've always been an
Yeah, see,
animal
watch the
lover.
levels.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
actual fish, and that was if you're unaware, that was where Body English is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I remember meeting Tracy just walking around. She's like, "Hi, I'm Tracy," and I was shooting for Las Vegas Weekly. She's like, "I'm from Sacramento, and I'm starting this new thing out here." I'm like, "Awesome," because I try to be as supportive as I can, regardless of what somebody does.
Well, she took her dream and
She
she
did.
made it happen. Now I'll be watching UFC fights and I see this hot girl bent over taking all these photos, and there she is today, which was another one of her passions. And now she's getting to cover that sport that she's passionate about.
Yeah,
So it's really
and
nice.
and it's cool too because I was watching a video of you earlier, and Tiffany has interviewed.
Just to
tons
clarify
of
that,
people.
everyone,
Oh, well,
the video
there's
that
a-
he was watching was let's start with that.
Okay.
I've never done porn.
Okay, yeah. Let's.
So when he
let's just
says-
go out the gate and say let's
just
negate
open
all
it
the
up.
rumors. Let's just do that.
That's a
might
great-
as well.
I thought about doing porn, but they wouldn't take me. So
It's the hair.
I
That's
must have. Well, I had a lot of hair back then. I wasn't as heavy. I had more hair, so
Actually, you probably wouldn't have to worry about the hair thing.
yeah, they weren't. Yeah, they weren't focused on that part.
So let's go out the gate and talk about what rumors have been started about you, and let's negate them all.
Okay, great.
Cool.
We could play some questions here. We'll start back in 1999 when I moved here from Las Vegas. I'm sorry, when I moved to Las Vegas, I came here thinking that I was going to marry a particular gentleman in California.
Mm-hmm.
Sad to say, he was a porn producer.
Oh,
He wanted a little girl from Kansas.
okay. Which you are.
He worked for Wicked Pictures, which was very big back then.
Sure.
And I never did porn.
Right.
But I thought, well, I've always wanted to be a journalist and a writer. now's my big chance.
Sure.
I can write about the industry, still be cool and be around because at the time, Brianna Banks was huge. Jenna Jameson had just exploded into this industry, and it was a very hot and happening thing.
It was. They
So
were all over the place.
I'm moving to California. Hollywood, right? I
Right.
got my convertible packed, and I'm listening to, Kid Rock, like setting up shop at the top Four Seasons, whatever that song is,
Yeah.
Cowboy Baby or something.
Yeah.
So I am leaving Kansas, and I'm all about it, and then I get the phone call.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think I'm going to get back together with my ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm in Oklahoma in the middle of a blizzard. You can't do that to me.
Yeah, I'm coming out to be with you.
And I'm like, okay. Once again, little girl from Kansas here going, well, I can't go back.
Right.
Because I just announced to everybody, I'm leaving.
I'm finally out of
I can't make it only
Kansas.
one
Right.
state away, So long
The
story
blizzard turned me
short,
back. I've got to go back to Kansas.
I get a phone call from Joey D. Giovanna. And he's like, how much money you got on you? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe $1,600.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, come to Vegas. Go on vacation. Feel it out.
Right.
Just come relax. So I checked into a budget suites hotel. And I went to the opening of Rum Jungle at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
And I walk up to the line, and they're like, this is VIP. And I'm like, I am VIP. Are you kidding me?
That's my middle name.
And, I guess I'll save it for my stories and everything else that we've got coming up on my talk radio show.
On our show, we will touch on that as well.
Yeah, and then I'll tell a little story. So the rumors are, I am from Kansas. I've never done porn.
Right.
Long story short, I did write about the industry. I kind of got myself in a pickle because I went to Kinko's and I made a card, and it said, #1 adult journalist.
Okay. So
They said, what is that?
Sure.
And I said, well, you've heard of a sports journalist, right?
Right.
They're like, oh, I get it. But the truth is,
They didn't really get it.
They got it, but there was no such thing as an adult journalist. But there was on my card. It's like Hollywood, you could be a producer of anything.
Sure.
It was a name.
But you wanted to talk about what was going on in the industry, and you did that, didn't you? Like I was saying before, you interviewed a ton of celebrities, UFC fighters before anyone even knew who they were.
Oh, so you saw those videos too? Yeah.
Yes.
When Tito was first coming out
Tito.
on the scene, and
He had
Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, and Tito had to say who he was instead
Right.
of people knowing who he was.
Oh, that's funny. We do have those clips.
Yes, they're on that,
Because
that
hi,
video.
I'm Tito Ortiz,
And explained, I am-
just started Team Punishment, and
Yeah.
wow. Now they're all retired with walkers. That should age me a little bit.
No,
here.
we can't do that. You don't age. I know that. I know that's for sure. But being in the industry a long time, and I had mentioned, don't know if I said it here on the show, but before, like Club 7, I say that because it was like it was a standalone nightclub on the Las Vegas Strip. And
Well, we could go way back before that, and let's talk about Glow, SRO,
Sure.
the drink.
well, the reason I was mentioning that one specific is because a lot of those were off the strip. But yes, those were very
Right.
Glow,
This was
and
on.
yeah, it was right on the strip. But
I don't think it's fair to call it Club 7 so much. That was a club, because wasn't it a restaurant during the day?
yeah,
So it's not quite fair to say these yet. The same with Rum Jungle. It was a restaurant
Right.
that turned into a club.
right. So it wasn't officially only a nightclub all the time.
I've been spending many years writing a book called The History of Las Vegas Nightlife,
Wow.
but there's no end.
No, it won't
So
stop.
I can't.
It won't
I
stop.
can't do the publishing
She's
yet.
just going to have this whole big notes about Las Vegas in the nightlife industry. But it continues to evolve. It's every time one opens, and it's the newest best thing, someone else comes along to up the ante.
Right.
And it just continues to evolve. And then the same spaces will transform themselves all the time. So
Exactly. And talking about evolving, let's crush another rumor.
I love crushing rumors. Let's do it.
Let's do this. So we're going back to let's take a little walk back to 2001.
Okay.
The Palms.
Yes.
I helped with a little reality show called The Real World.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're upstairs, and one of their producers said, bring girls in, sit around the table, and drink free champagne. Get your own bottle service. I thought, wow, that's the way to go. I don't have to be the girl that has to go over to the guy with the buttons down here and
hairy
the
chest,
hairy
and all
chest,
that.
the gold chains. Come here, honey. Sit by my big
George,
sugar
are you
daddy.
pointing at yourself?
No, I just made sure no hairs were showing through. Or
So it was kind of cool. I started up this clique that was called Naked Lives, meaning
I saw that
exposed lives. Get it? Naked, playing off the sexy thing.
Sure.
And we had these webcams in our house, but if we moved, we had to move the eyeballs to us.
Right.
Now, prostitution is obviously illegal in Vegas. People don't know that.
Right. Clark County, all of Clark County.
And so is shooting any porn video.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, so I tried to combine all these together. I went to a graphic artist and they built this house. And it looked like I had a dungeon. And it looked like we had like a basement. There are no basements in Vegas.
No.
Okay. And
Too-
we had
too
all
expensive.
of these things. So I would be out sitting with girls around my table. But it looked like, because nobody was home, right?
Right.
All those eyeballs. Dude, Dre's open. Like we were never home.
Right, right.
So exposed lives, nakedlives.com just meant we would go home and write our journals, our diaries, what they call now blogs.
Sure.
But before we had blogs, we had our daily diaries.
Right.
So we get in there and write about the night before. We partied with Fred Durst or whatever, because
Sure,
Vegas was just opening and popping.
Sure.
But in the meantime, we were buying content out of Amsterdam. So when I'm out and sitting around these tables with girls drinking free bottles, they thought we had some guy with a gimp being spanked at my house.
Wow. Okay.
They're like, we want to meet Misty Rain.
Right.
Well, Misty Rain actually lives in Sweden. But, of course,
Sure.
we didn't let that out
No.
because people were paying for us to live there.
Sure.
Paid our bills because we were never there. It was
Right.
the birth of, we went from going to 9 Steakhouse, to Rain, to Dre's, then to Glow. And then we go home and sleep for 6 hours and do it all over again.
Sure.
How I'm alive today, I still don't know.
And that's what a lot of people in the industry do.
They're still doing it.
I think so. Yeah. It gets old.
It's so,
I mean, you could do that in Vegas if you wanted to. It's party 24 hours. Your pool party, then you eat, and then you go to a nightclub, and then you go to after hours, sleep for 2 hours, and then go back to a pool party. So,
and now there's pool parties. Right.
because there weren't pool parties back then.
We
either.
had just opened rehab.
Yes, because that's
And I
about
was
what's
there
that
for
10
the
year
birth
right
of
now?
that too. So
10 years it's been open. I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
nothing like it was back in the day. I feel like we're talking about Woodstock, which is the theme of our new radio talk show here. It's called Waking Up in Vegas.
So let's touch on that a little bit. I talked to you about coming over to All Talk, but what was it that made you? I mean, you could have gone anywhere, basically.
It was all you.
It's all me.
It was all you. You
I'm
are a
getting
trusted name when it comes to being, you're a smart guy, and you are who you associate with.
Right.
And if you're doing this 5 days a week, and I'm very commitment phobic, I think
it is a huge commitment, that's for sure. But it's
I
good.
think I could put out an hour a week.
It's
a nice step.
You'd like to clarify that?
I mean, really, it's putting it out there. It really is.
And it will be called Waking Up in Vegas.
It is. It's
Okay.
Waking Up in Vegas. It's going to touch on the 15 years of nightlife here.
Right.
It's also going to touch on what to do, what not to do when you come to Las Vegas.
That's a good thing to have for people, for sure.
This will be the first information portal. You can find it on LasVegasBucketList.com, which is a combination of being a VIP host in Vegas and
Right.
trusted, to our podcast, our radio show, and Bucket List Adventures. I'm helping people do more things than just fist pumping in a nightclub.
Right.
There is so much more to offer in Las Vegas.
It's insane
We have
how many
everything.
things there are out here.
Yes, and I learned the hard way. I'm catching up. Being here for 15 years, I never went to the Grand Canyon, which is 4 hours away.
Right.
Mount Charleston and skiing.
45
Lake
minutes.
Mead, the largest man-made lake in the world.
Another 45.
And oddly, actually 20 minutes.
20
you
minutes.
know?
Well, it depends on where you live, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm in Henderson, so
Sure.
it's just
You're
right
right
in my
there.
backyard.
He's in travel-livery mode, I believe.
How about hiking?
Yes,
I've been here
tons.
15 years, and I did my first hike in Red Rock.
I think I saw that video too.
Amazing. Why haven't I spoken up to help people really live outside fist pumping boundaries? I felt like I was missing something if I
Right.
weren't in the nightlife every night. And girls, when I say get a life, because all these people you're around, 90% of them you will not know 3 years from now.
This is true. This is true.
You won't.
They,
So why
they're
am I
your
here?
besties
Because
now.
of the trust. Yeah, you're BFFs right now. Oh my gosh, I hate to see you. Like
Yeah.
unfriend on Facebook.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Block.
So I am with this show. I've had many other offers that have offered me lots of money, this and that. But you are who you hang with,
Right.
and it's really nice that we'll run into each other at least once a week.
I look forward to it.
And play off of each other too. We have a lot of the same friends and respect in this industry. Knowledge.
Right.
No,
The knowledge
if I
is
don't know,
key.
I can go to you.
Vice
so.
versa. And I love seeing my friends successful.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's I've seen a progression with what you're doing, and you were mentioning.
I had to fight for this.
Sure. It's
The club
tough.
industry did not. They thought that what I hated. So they're like, oh, only old people are bucket list. We're not dying. Correction. I've lost my roommate, who's a 40-year-old doctor. We've lost a lot of friends in this industry.
Right.
And bucket list was not created necessarily for old people that are dying.
Right.
We were never, ever given a guarantee that I will be here tomorrow.
It's true.
And waking up in Vegas it's got, me, my double meanings, Cabana Candy,
Sure.
right? The girls,
Sure.
Vegas Arm Charms, they're
Right.
hosts. The double meaning of waking up in Vegas is one, waking up with all the hangovers, great hangover stories. It's like
Sure.
a coffee book table of hangovers that have happened and sharing funny stories with remember when,
Right.
but it's also waking Vegas up.
To everything else that is here.
Yes. Not just
Or and
here,
other
but
things too.
yeah.
Yes, we were talking
Last
a little
night
bit
I
about
took
sure.
I took a particular baby animal out with me to raise awareness to help save an educational program that we have here, Ruse and More, which I'm very passionate about.
Yes, you are.
But the Las Vegas club industry, the people themselves, not the nightlife. The nightlife is not helping me with a check, writing a check
Right.
to a nonprofit organization, which they can write off.
Right.
It's taken our club industry waitresses, promoters, hosts to help make a difference.
Right.
So now they're starting to step out. We're actually going to go camping, Jeremy.
Nice.
And I'm inviting you. We're doing an industry camp out inside of Ruse and More.
That's kind of cool.
It is. It's going to help them raise money that they need. And I'll be touching a lot about them on my show starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And Waking Up in Vegas, we'll all be waking up at the zoo. And I think this is a great place to go on location live from.
And we can actually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about All Talk is you can
Yeah.
go
And we could have
anywhere.
we could have all the animals with us. We should do that on a
It'll be-
Wednesday
it'll
so
be-
we can go back to back with each other.
Sure.
It'll be kind of like a little bit of a reality look to it, but that's what you want, I'm believing.
Yeah, a little bit. It'll be raw looking, but
Yeah.
it'll obviously be
I'll
live.
keep the donkey away from you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Now, when you're saying you're waking people up, I think it's a really cool thing because, yes, and when you live here and you go to the nightclubs all the time, I was out at least, and I stopped doing it 3-4 years ago, but out every night taking pictures in nightclubs, and it was just, I don't drink, but I was still getting like a bit run down, but introducing these other things like flying in the airplane, flipping upside down, going out into the lake, like you were saying, hiking. There are all these other things.
So
that are here.
there's a lot of healthy
Right.
things to do in this town. You
Yep.
don't drink. I
Right.
do. That's how I keep myself so well preserved. I love my cocktails, but I've also regretted all the money that's being blown here and they're not saving it. So I promote a lot of happy hours, and I promote Las Vegas Bucket List is also on a meetup group.
Yeah.
We just launched officially last Monday, but I have 1,700 members.
Wow.
And we've just now officially launched.
Right.
Wow.
And I tell people, come alone. Club industry, oh my God, they would never go anywhere by themselves.
Sure. And if they were, they wouldn't go at all.
Right. Yeah, they'd stay home and, like, oh, it's not the cool club. No, wrong.
Right.
It's awesome. I've got like Nina from Foundation Room has been going to different things with us.
Cool.
And she didn't know anyone. She shows up, and this is how I became friends with her. We had people adventure to go to the Ghost Adventure Tour, where we went up and I rented a place out from 12 to 3 a.m. Club industry, come with me. I'm going to show you. Bucket list is not just about old people, like
Sure.
getting together for coffee at a happy hour.
Right.
Taking their Geritol. It's not like that at all.
Insured.
Yeah, I love Geritol.
So we went to Bonnie's Ranch,
Uh-huh.
and we had our EVP system, and we hired the people to come in. We had Sancho Van Ryn, Michael Sartain. We had some girls from Tao Group, girls from Crazy Horse 3, Nina, myself, and some other bucket listers, and we went out there. And my girlfriend Bam and I, that's partners. It was Bam. She's from Alabama, and she taught me this. We're not strangers. We're friends that haven't met yet.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And still to this day, we're all now combined together and joined. We had that in common. Okay, yes, I literally pissed my pants. I was so scared. And that will bond you together with me forever.
Then you definitely need to go out to, I know this is Vegas, but I hear tons of stories about the Queen Mary out in L.A.
Oh, yeah, I haven't done that one yet.
And you will probably do more than pee your
This is not
pants.
just Vegas.
Sure.
We're going to call it Waking Up in Vegas because you're going to be waking up with me in Vegas. And
At 3 p.m. Wednesdays. I'll talk
well,
about
we know that it'll take me that long to wake up and get all the way over on this side of town to get to the radio station.
It's not uncommon for a 3 p.m. wake up.
No.
And it is common in Vegas to have blackout curtains on your windows, at least for me.
And you're just doing that just to keep the heat out and keep your
Exactly.
AC down, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If that light comes in, I'm waking up, and that's.
I'm a mother of a 19 and 22-year-old, so I have to admit I have to get up in the morning to make sure they're up in the morning to go to
Right.
work. So
And let's talk about that. When you moved out here, you're still obviously a mother, but mother of a couple of young children too.
we'll save that for my show.
Okay,
But
fair
yes,
enough. Yeah.
it's a crazy story. Long story short, I moved the boys out from Kansas to here, and we now have the Masters family.
Cool.
And we'll be celebrating that marriage very, very soon.
Cool.
It's not necessarily the family that you're born in; it's the family that you make.
Sure.
And we adopted our new name.
Awesome.
If you know what I'm saying?
I do.
So-
I do.
And so that'll be a very big celebration coming up. The brothers are together, and we're here.
Awesome.
Long story short, I'll have to save that for
You
an
can save
entire
it for your
program.
just save it for your show, but it's something that maybe people wouldn't think about is a single mom being in Las Vegas and raising your kids, and can you
Can
do
you
that?
do that?
Yeah. So
Absolutely. And I think that I'm stronger, and they're stronger because of it,
right.
than being a white picket fence in Kansas and not being real.
Plus, there are no tornadoes here, so
Oh my gosh. That's this is a 3-hour show to
Not
talk
yet.
about what I just did. Yes. So
no.
but waking up in Vegas.
Right.
A great place to wake up. But when I say waking up in Vegas, I'm also waking up those that are on their way to Vegas. I can help other hosts with their people that are coming
Right.
to tune into the show to learn things like, well, I didn't know that we couldn't take our makeup bag with us to the pool.
Yes, because there's a huge crackdown on anything that
Right.
you bring in. You're going to be checked.
They
for everything.
look under your phone things, but it's for our own safety.
Sure.
But I remember one of my girlfriends was very upset because she had to hide her birth control pills after waiting an hour and a half to get through this line. She had to hide her birth control pills in a plant to make sure that she could pick them up again on her way out.
Right.
Wow.
Or they hustle you for a second line to put in lockers before you go in.
Okay.
It is a mess. Do not take anything but your high heel shoes and your thong
Yeah.
to the pool, ladies.
And don't take your high heel shoes off, I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No.
Never.
That's a faux pas for sure.
Myself, because the industry has changed so much, you would never see me in a pair of high heels really at a pool.
Right.
They're trashy. That's another thing you learn on my show,
Sure.
Waking Up in Vegas. It's kind of like when you go to Hawaii and you see girls walking around in clear plastic high heel shoes. That means you're a hooker. There's so many things that I'll be able to, which we'll get back into bucket list too. And the stories that I've done from around the world, I will take you everywhere from my experiences in Thailand, going to see a ping pong show in Bangkok. To my
am I visualizing this
yes,
correctly?
Yeah, I
yes,
thought so
yes,
too.
yes. I didn't say I did it. I said that
No,
we were on a mission. Shannon Kelly and I did this. How we came up with the bucket list to get it again. The bucket list does not mean that we're dying. It just means there are no guarantees. And when our producers, we were doing a show, and our producer said, "Well, why are you doing a bucket list?"
Right.
I said, "Well, we're going to do everything that we can before we get married, because when we're married,
right,
we're dead.
Right.
Life as we know it is over." So that's what we've been doing.
That's why I
have experienced.
George's experienced. I haven't, but I live vicariously through George and go, that's what I
will not do, right?
Right.
That's what you're thinking.
So let me ask you all a question.
Of course.
What's on your bucket list?
Well, I do eventually want to skydive, but I have a lot of things I want to accomplish first. So
Because you're in fear that that's going to be the last
that is
moment.
yes, as I'm plummeting to the earth and my chute hasn't opened, I want to go, yeah, I did a lot of things that I wanted to do first.
Well, interesting to say that. It was a year ago, January. I flew by myself to Playa del Carmen to blog and research different bucket list things to do. And I was curious. It was never on my bucket list to jump out of a plane.
Right.
So I go up in the plane, and there's videos that I have on the site. Well, I'm up there. I did say my thank yous. Thanks. I found my son that was missing. Got that all together, and we're moving to Vegas. I'm very thankful. Blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And then I look at the window, and I think, whales. Yeah, I'm gonna dive with whales next. I want to swim with the big whale sharks that are here. I wasn't even thinking about jumping out of the plane after that.
Right.
I was there. That
You were
means there's
thinking of
something wrong with me. I call it stripperitis. That's why I can't be in a relationship, because you're on one and you're looking over your shoulder and you're wondering what else there is, if there's something better, right?
Yes.
I hadn't even jumped out of the plane
imagining.
yet, and I'm already planning what I'm going to do next.
As you're in the
So,
plane, you're thinking, and that probably helped you with maybe any fear that you may have
I didn't
had.
have any fear.
Well, that's cool.
Is that sad?
I don't think so. I mean, you just you grab life by
But
the
I
horns.
have fear underwater. Deathly afraid of sharks.
Well, that you're going to be have to
I'm
be there.
so
I don't
scared
know.
of those.
Did you go to the reef yet?
Shark Reef,
The reef?
Mandalay Bay.
They have sharks in there.
I know, but honey, it's I
You're
trust
not in the water.
glass.
George is like, I don't even want to be that close to it.
I actually
See,
went
I
there,
think
though.
there's a great white in water up to my knee. You know, I'm
Okay.
I'm so scared.
There
Oh,
actually can
shush. Ooh,
But then you wanted to go swimming with the whale sharks.
I know.
So how'd that happen? Did you do
Because
it?
there aren't as many sharks in that area. They come so close to give birth and to have their babies around in this with warmer waters like
Sure.
that. So, see, I have to think about these.
So you've thought about what the animals are doing. Obviously, they're having
But
their
I'm
babies.
still scared.
You're right.
And I'm claustrophobic, so that breathing thing in
Right.
salt water. We all have a fear. What's your
Sure.
fear? Yours
don't-
is heights? Or?
No, I don't. I don't really
Or
have
crashing?
one. I do feel if I died tomorrow, that I have accomplished a lot of the things that I want to. But there are a few more things that I actually would. It's like if you're dead and then you're looking back at your life, and I think to myself, have I done all the things that am I satisfied with dying now that I've accomplished a lot of things? I would go yes, but to
All right, I'm gonna call it out here.
forcefully go, let me jump out of a plane right now. I go, well, I got a couple things I actually want to do. It's different, if I'm dying in a car crash compared to
You don't want to be the
choosing
cause of your
jump.
own death.
There you go. I don't want someone else to cause it either, but I don't
But you
want.
get in a car every day, and that could happen.
I agree with you.
All right, so everyone that's listening out there, if you have any connections that you want some great,
I'm
great
still gonna
promo
wait to
here,
do it.
you're still gonna wait.
I think so. Yeah.
Why don't you try the first step? Go down to that indoor skydiving and try it out there to get maybe with the fear a little.
No, that's a good idea. I haven't done the Vegas indoor skydiving
I
yet.
haven't either.
There you go.
I know the people down there.
There we go. Can
George
we please
knows
get
people.
on?
Maybe we'll try to hook this up.
There you
We'll
go.
hook
you
it
down
up,
there.
and if I could get 2 more passes, y'all, from indoor skydiving, so I could put on our silent auction to help save Rusenmore.
Exactly.
We'd
We'll talk
appreciate
about
it.
that. So
maybe
let's touch on
maybe
that.
we'll film it while we're down there and get your face
Just your face does that. So Rosenmoor, there's a silent auction and benefit going on March 17th.
March
is that correct?
19th.
19th.
Foundation Room. I'm going to be really, really promoting this very heavy because I'm bringing all industry together. We chose Foundation Room not only because it's one of the very first venues of Vegas.
It is.
It's beautiful. It's very non-political.
Right.
I wanted to go to, let's say Light Group or something. AMG wasn't very supportive.
Okay.
And I had to pick a venue.
Which is
And
interesting because they've helped out Three Square and stuff too. So
Light Group is great.
Right.
They helped.
Right.
They're actually writing a check to us.
Cool.
But some others not so much so.
Okay.
But they're not quite there yet. They're the new club kind
Sure.
of mentality.
Sure.
So we're bringing it back old school.
Old school.
We're going to Foundation Room, which is very upper class.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm a member there.
Right.
And I was looking around and I was talking to Nina, who's the GM there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what can we do? And they're giving a percentage of their bar.
Wow.
And they're not charging downstairs to come up. It'll be donations.
Wow. Okay.
And we'll have some silent auctions, some raffle tickets.
Cool.
And since it is non-political, you can work at Hakkasan, you can work at Excess, or you can work at Light, and everyone can come together
Right.
and not have that, I'm this group, I'm
Sure.
that group.
You're
Because
there
Foundation is Live Nation,
Right.
Ticketmaster. They're not any group.
Right. You're there to support Rosenmoor. It's
Rosenmoor.
not necessarily we're here. It's not an outing, which is basically
And
clubs going to other clubs.
Yeah, and I could get I could get a cabana in a silent auction for Wet Republic, and I can have a daylight cabana as well
Right.
on the silent auction, and they're not going to hate on that.
Right.
Do you remember back in the Pure days when Pure was found, when they found people on their nights off at Tau? They were getting fired over
Right.
it.
And
Remember
then-
that?
And it's funny how things start like that. The things that are controversial.
And now
at the
you
be-
see that they
and it
go on
happens
their
all the
nights
time.
off.
Like I was saying, it's called an
Outreach.
outing or an outreach is where, you'll have that nightclub. If it's their off night, they'll go to like an industry night during the week, let's say, to fill the room and support one another. And they both do it for one another. But back in the day, you got caught doing that, you got fired. And,
The only people that did it back in the day was Tony Verdugo and Victor Dre.
Right.
We were the guilty ones wearing sunglasses in the nightclub at 1:30 in the morning.
How dare you?
And you knew we were going to Dre's after that.
Right.
We didn't have text messaging. Well, it kind of came out, but they charged you per text back
Right.
then. And forget about social media.
Sure.
And Bo Carlin would flyer the cars.
Mm-hmm. Everywhere. Bowtown. Bowtown.
And
That-
for the good old days.
It was the good old days, but we sound like our grandpas and stuff. But the thing is all this change has really happened in 10 years, if that.
And I think the past 16 months with social media, now it's the Instagram and
Sure.
now they're competing with each other, and now they're starting to join together. When you Instagram, it'll actually go out to, it gives you that. Do you want to post on Twitter,
Sure.
Tumblr, and Facebook? That's nice.
And people ask me, like, how am I getting all this stuff all over the place? And that's it. If I'm out taking a picture somewhere, I usually will take it on Instagram and then feed it out everywhere else. We're getting our picture taken. Gotta make sure we smile. There you go. George. So, but it's a great way to get your message out there and everything about you. I will say
But
that.
I got to argue with you, though.
Okay.
I mean, it's
like
a yes and no. It's like, Mom, listen, I'm not as busy as Facebook appears.
No, but that's what you do building a brand, is that you are able to present yourself in a way that shows that you're out doing all these things, but you might not necessarily be that.
Yes. Which is dangerous. There's a lot of catfish out there, too.
Of course. I mean, but
And people,
Do you
can you
hide your head in the
please stop
sand, though?
tagging me in? No, checking
Oh,
me
no,
in
I don't
to
like that.
places
I
that
don't
I'm
like-
not at.
I don't like people necessarily tagging me either if I'm not there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's great that you
I'm like,
did-
I'm at Deuce Lounge.
I didn't
Really?
know that.
I just told everybody that I wasn't going out tonight. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Well, that's why you have to put a block on that. People will tag me on all sorts of things, and I'm like, okay, now I have to go and make sure that I approve tags so I don't end up on your photo flyer for whatever you might be doing. But Yes, it has its double edge.
How many Facebooks do you own?
Well, I just have my personal, and then I have fan pages.
I don't like the fan page. Do you?
I do because it just, for what
Do you
that
know that
is.
it only goes to
I know.
3% of your audience?
I know.
So
Yeah.
why do we have it in the first place?
Well, originally
Well, I
it
got
started to.
Hootsuite, so now I can do it all.
You can do everything.
Yeah.
But I think you have it as another means to show people. I understand the concept of why Facebook charges for boosting posts. I get that. It's a business.
Well, they get them, yeah.
But at the same time, I'll cross-reference. So it gives it's like this. It's why would you have maybe multiple YouTube channels for different things? Maybe you want to talk about this on this one and this on the other. So it allows me to put things in a categorized manner on the fan page, and if I choose to share that stuff on my actual main Facebook profile, I can do that as well. So that's why I like it. It may not go out to that many people, but it allows people to still see that. It might not land on their newsfeed right away, but they might see, oh, I haven't checked out this fan page in a while, and then they go to it. I'll see stuff. I'll get clicks on my site from stuff I posted 6 months ago.
Right.
And so that's why it's like a housing categorization of stuff.
I like my personal one. Well, I've got a few, but the one that that goes to my phone, I really feel like I'm making a relationship with people.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a lot more personal, and I can share. I had to come out of the closet and say, yes, I am a mother of a 19 and 22-year-old.
Right.
Back then, Tiffany Masters was a fictional character.
Right.
But when I started doing my reality shows and they started filming a documentary on our life right now, I have to be more real.
Sure.
And then some of it, I've got to calm people down, like, be careful, have some respect.
Sure, sure.
I'm not that kind of girl. I write about it. It doesn't mean I do it.
Right.
So I like Facebook. I could sit at home and get more done. And I'm trying to teach my son, who's the youngest promoter in Vegas, working for a light group, trying to teach him how to do this.
Right.
How to promote.
Almost
on
like
social
you're
media.
like, if I was that age, I wish someone would have told me this stuff.
But then again, being a mother, they don't really want to. They want to argue more than they want to.
Well, that's what comes with the territory. Let's. I wanted to talk about. So let's discuss why Ruse and More needs to be saved. Because we were approaching that, and we were talking about other things. But
well, if you could go to LasVegasBucketList.com and go to podcasts,
okay.
you will get an hour interview with Dr. Holt herself.
Okay.
And I think she says it best.
Okay.
I'm great at promoting and representing in many ways.
Sure.
But now they're jumping through so many more hurdles.
Sure.
We're raising money.
Right.
But now they want more
Right.
and more and more and more.
Right.
And as of last night, I heard that they want a parking lot for 200 cars.
Why?
It's not frickin' Disneyland,
No.
okay?
Right.
It's a non-profit organization of a husband and wife that are veterinarians that people that buy these exotic pets
Right.
can't take care of. They buy it
Right.
out of vanity or like, oh my God, I want a monkey. And then they realize the monkey does not grow up and
That
it's
voice
a pain.
is perfect. by the
But
way.
it's so true.
Right.
So, anyway, they end up having to take care of these animals that have been neglected or abused.
Right.
They thought they like little Nala, beautiful little monkey, grew up in a house with autistic children, severe autism,
Okay.
and they see now that it's not a good idea. But
Were
little
they-
Nala is there being rehabilitated
Sure.
to show that she's a monkey.
Right.
Because little Nala holds onto her blanket and she rocks like this.
Wow. So
and
she was
even
copying.
pulls her bangs
Wow.
because she thinks she has autism.
Sure.
She's
She's
got the
mimicking.
characteristics. Yeah,
Right.
she's mimicking them. So now she's very attached, holding on, and always up in Jeannie's arms.
Right.
They've got great volunteers that are out there. So they're having to rehabilitate and teach Nala that she's a monkey.
Right.
The county, I think it's the county, wants to go in. They're beating up all these rural businesses, even the farm
Right.
that's over here that teaches children from schools what chicken and eggs come from, right?
Right.
Well, there's somebody that's just screwing with all these businesses, wanting them to pave a parking lot, and they've been there since 1961.
Right. It's the
Over
the
50
the pig
years.
farm you're referring to.
No, this is it's the farm over here. It's I posted it.
Okay.
Somebody sent me another letter, and I'm
Okay.
like, my God, I'm from Kansas for
And
one
farms
thing.
are everywhere. Right.
And like if somebody's being a hater because of the animals, these are not your typical. It's not a zoo.
Right.
If they take little Nala
Mm-hmm.
and put it in a zoo
Right.
and punish all these people around here, one, we're going to lose the only educational program anywhere where children can come in that are blind and touch a kangaroo and feel its tail and go, oh my gosh, Mama, I can see a kangaroo.
Right.
They're raised around people.
Right.
If you take little Nala that's going through this rehabilitation right now and put her in a zoo with other monkeys,
Right.
it's going to kill Nala.
Right. Because Nala does not know how to interact with other monkeys.
Yeah. And this program is amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
And
to lose this is really going to piss off everybody in our community.
There's
it's
a lot
awesome how they've come out of their shell to raise money for this and say, don't take away the only thing we can take our children to or dates and stuff out of a casino, out of nightlife, fist pumping, and do something that's got a soul to it.
Sure. And there's all sorts of animals there. It's called Roos and More. Mm-hmm. So there's kangaroos, there's monkeys, there's
ostriches, there's emus, there's when we go camping, we're just going to have to introduce, there's a couple camels, an Asian bear cat. And when they're donated to the zoo like this, at zoo, let's just call it the habitat, because I don't like to call it a zoo.
Right.
But when they're donated, they go and they find a partner for it.
Okay.
Because, being vets and the passion and the love that they have for animals, they're not going to just have one Asian bear cat sitting there. They're going to find a partner.
Right.
And keep them happy. And then the kids come in. It's not like they were open to the public commercially. They're being forced to go commercial. They didn't want that. People come and donate.
It started with the bathroom, right?
It started with, yes. Yeah.
But we'll have you go to LasVegasBucketList.com and go to podcasts, and you'll see the interview that's there, and it explains the whole nine of
and then we'll go out and we'll update. Let's do an update in the next couple weeks there.
Sure.
Possibly right before our event.
Okay.
Maybe on one of your Tuesdays before the event. That would be fun.
Cool.
I think that we've got the club industry from all over coming together that's non-political to camp out the night before.
Cool.
Amazing.
George,
campfire stories.
Am I going to be sweet with an emu or something?
I know.
It's actually on a video. Michael Sartain put a video of an emu trying to get up on this girl.
I think I saw that.
It was funny.
She was yeah.
And holding the
Right.
She's like, oh,
Whatever.
come on.
Right.
Oh, stop it, Phil.
So it's a ton of good stuff that you are involved in. The saving of Roos and More, the bucket list, just promoting more things about
helping
Vegas.
3 Square Meals.
Helping 3
we
Square.
volunteer on Tuesdays downtown, help collect food, not just during Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
Guess what? People are hungry
All the time.
360 days.
Wait a minute. You mean people are hungry without it being a holiday?
Really?
Wow. Amazing.
It's good
People
that
just-
I want to promote more charity things on my show. So that's I'm actively looking for that. So if you're watching now, you're more than welcome to contact me about that. Go to the JeremyWomackShow.com. It's the easiest way.
And I'd love to share some with you.
Yeah,
because I'm only one voice and I can't get to them all. Like Goody Two Shoes really needs some support right now too.
There's more than what people I think only think there's like a handful, because those are the ones they always hear about. But there are a ton that are here that and Vegas, for all that everybody sees of what it is, it's a very tight-knit community. For a city that has 2 million people, it's a small town. Everybody pretty much knows one another or has been interacting with them for a long time. So, and people really get rally around these types of things. You might not see it necessarily in the businesses. Sometimes that's more of a, hey, we're doing this because, hey, look at us, we have a business and we want to show that we're helping. But the actual people that live here are really, they do go out of their way to assist, whether it's, it is.
Well, I find that they do if I'm saying for the younger generation, they do it if their friends do it.
Okay, yeah.
And if it makes them, join together like that outside of nightlife, I think it's great.
Right.
Nancy Young is an amazing woman that's with 3 Square Meals. Now she... And her age, she's leaving that demographic of what that is, and she's going to nightlife and bringing these, like I want to call them children, but these 22-year-olds to come and take their makeup off, put their hair back, and get dirty.
Right.
But they're doing it together.
Right.
Do you know Megan Lee with the bank?
The name sounds familiar.
So one of the hottest waitresses.
Yeah. Yeah, I
she
know.
is so super hot. She's like, give me a shovel, and I will be out there any day that
Right.
you need us to get dirty and really volunteer and help clean up everything out there.
Right.
It's the cleanest facility I've ever seen anyway. Rosenmoor is just, there's nothing, it doesn't smell. You can't even see anything on the floor.
Right.
Like,
They
even
keep
out in
it-
the pasture, like it's so well kept.
You said pasture.
Yes, I did say pasture. Wow. There is a bull out there. So
There's a bull
I'm
too?
from Kansas.
You
Yeah,
are
there's
from
a
Kansas.
bull.
Wow.
A bull lives with the donkey that has the ostrich, that has 2 camels, a zebra, and some billy goats. They're all in the same area. They're all friends. They all sleep next to each other and hang out.
And the only one you're keeping away from Jeremy is the
I
donkey?
know, right?
And the donkey.
Just the donkey. She said, I'll keep the donkey away, but
The
everybody
bull
else is
is-
free game.
The kangaroos, the porcupines. It's amazing. When we camp there, we're going to do a nocturnal tour, which is very rare. They never do this.
Right.
So we get to see animals at night in their habitat.
She mentions the porcupine. I saw this video. I think it was the one that I think you sent it
Yeah,
to me
with
with
Michael Sartain,
Right.
yes.
So there's this porcupine, and
It huffs and
it
stomps
huffs,
its
it
foot.
stomps its feet, and you're fearing that this woman that's right next to it and basically saying, "Stop that, stop that."
Yeah.
You fear that the porcupine's going to say, "Screw you," and shoot a bunch
Couple
of
quills.
quills at her. It doesn't happen. He's just like,
Well, she's been with them
frustrated.
since
I
they were
know, right?
babies.
And that's the
They know
key
her.
So he
part
just
of
throws a
it.
tantrum pretty much.
Right, basically, he's like, okay, fine, but that's the cool thing about Rosenmoor is that these
The otters too. They all have personality.
do
Oh
they?
my
I
god!
gotta see that. Well, they're always around these animals, so it's like basically parental
are.
thing. It's not like oh, we just have a zoo and hey, we're gonna feed it and look at it and
And
no,
sell it. It's not.
it's interactive.
It's $10. They do occasionally during the month, but the $10 is going. They give them a hand-guided tour. You get to touch the babies, the animals. I call them all babies. You get to touch. You get to hold. You take an unlimited amount of pictures. They are not hustling you, trying to sell water. Nothing. It's a non-profit organization in this people's home and ranch.
So you can actually tell that they care about what
Right.
they're doing.
They care so much.
And you might have heard it a couple of times in the show. The word you're saying is
Educational.
and
Because the schools go out there. Last night, one of their volunteers was with me at Foundation Room, and we were talking, and she started to well up in tears. And she was saying, that she, a school teacher cried one day when they took the animals to the school, and this severely autistic boy, or mentally retarded, I'm sure not which one it was, said his first, was making monkey sounds.
Oh,
Made his
really?
very first sound ever.
Wow.
And I know another story where a camel was there, and the first words ever spoken was camel.
Wow.
They work. Oh, I've got chills. They work with people that are being ignored.
Right.
In our school systems, we need this.
Oh, there's tons of stuff that we can talk about the school
We will
system.
go on and
That
on
is
and
a-
on.
that's
I
its own
love
little
this.
thing
I love how
itself.
we can take industry and really bring ourselves into our community.
Right.
We live here and we have a voice,
Yeah.
and it's going to be exciting to do
It
this
is,
with you.
It is very cool. And you will catch Tiffany's show Wednesdays, 3 p.m. And
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Think
for
of
sure.
W3, right? Hump Day.
And she'll be talking about all sorts of things, but the concept being waking up in Vegas and hearing all sorts of stories about
Yes.
the industry, herself, and any other little anecdotes that she brings in and wants to promote.
I think I'm going to make mine a little racier. I've got a lot to compete with, and so I'm not going to do like another nightlife so much.
Right.
I've been writing a column for 12 years called The Adventures of Tiffany Masters. 8 years of that was is still with Strip Las Vegas magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to make it a little rated R and kind of spice it up on the show.
Why not? That is the best way to move your lunch hour to 3 p.m. so you can make sure you tune in for the show. You can go to the JeremyWomackShow.com. You'll see a nice little profile of Tiffany there. There's a link to Bucket List. It's mostly about that and the adventures, but if you wanted to do anything that was just out of the norm, what is typical of what one might do here in Las Vegas, you definitely need to check out LasVegasBucketList.com and all that you have to offer with that. Because I think that if people haven't been here before or they've been here lots of times, they might get I heard that many times working in the industry. Is like, what else is there to do here? And you're like, really? Is that you are on 4 mile stretch of road of the Strip, and because the buildings are so big, I think this is the problem. Is that people can't see outside of them. You know,
Yeah.
they'll fly
They
in
need
here.
help, yeah.
They'll fly in here during the day, and then they'll ask, where do people live? I'm like, when you're flying in here during the day, did you not see all the houses that were surrounding the Strip?
Right.
Oh, that's a good point. No, we don't live in hotels. I don't buy my groceries at the gift shop at the
You
Venetian.
wear a G-string when you go to buy them, though?
Sometimes.
Okay. So.
I'm shopping where he's shopping.
There's so much to do here. When you're in your hotel and you're looking in the window and you're looking out west and you see those red mountains, there's one right there. You can go to Red Rock and hike, and you can go out to. There's just tons of stuff to do here. That's
on the
adventurous.
site, there's a tab that you could say, make your wish,
Okay.
bucket list wishes. Tonight we're doing drag queen bingo.
Wow.
So you never know.
You
People
are going to
put-
shock the hell out of those old people.
drag queen.
That's the point.
Bingo.
Better make sure they had a Geritol
Well,
first.
we got kicked out of South Point for playing bingo, but that's a whole nother story.
It's a whole other thing.
Being 86 out of bingo. Oh my
How does
God.
that happen? You get 86 out of bingo. That's
leave
going to be
it
the
to
story.
me.
Yes. So make sure you tune in Wednesday. I'll be on, of course, on tomorrow, and then at 1 and at 3, Tiffany will be on. So definitely check that out. And I'm glad that you're here.
Me too.
You
This
got
is very
mine.
exciting.
This is good stuff. And
So we'll be talking about hangovers. We're talking about beauty, keeping it young, detoxing. There's so many things that I'm plugging in.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
yes.
Well, George, minute?
Got about a minute left.
Okay, cool. Well, I can't say it enough. Tiffany.
March 19th.
March
Save
19th,
Reason More.
Definitely
Foundation Room.
at Foundation Room. You have to be there and check that out. Oh, on
Hashtag?
Is there a hashtag for it?
Hashtag Save Reason More
Okay.
and hashtag Bucket and Do It.
Bucket.
We
and
just
do it.
gave 100 Miley Cyrus tickets away that
She
were like
did.
front row.
I wanted to talk
beautiful,
about that too.
For hashtag Bucket
That
and
was-
Do It.
I even got invited, but I couldn't go.
He was in LA.
I was in
La
LA.
La Land.
But I had fun there, but I also know I would have had fun at this concert because
Yeah.
George and I talked about that last
Well, I
week.
do it a
think.
lot. I gave 100
Yes.
tickets away to Britney Spears as well. So just
Cool.
keep going to LasVegasBucketList.com and see what will be given to you next.
And then there's also the meetup group. So sign up for that if you're new to Vegas and you just want to meet people and you don't want to meet crazy people that you found on Twitter, just go to the meetup group and there's a ton of stuff there. So also go to the JeremyWomackShow.com. There's this cool picture of Tiffany with Boom,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a little kangaroo. And it's the most adorable picture that you'll see. So the JeremyWomackShow.com, check it out, and tune in tomorrow for my show. I'm going to be talking to Mr. Robert Lamson, who's awesome here in this town, and Tiffany's show at 3 p.m. Thanks a lot. Waking up in Vegas.
Thanks, guys.
All right, have a great day. Bye.